Welcome to Prep Talk with Woody. I'm here today with Coach Scott of Eustis High School, head coach. How you doing today, Coach?
Doing good. Doing real good.
Doing good. Appreciate that. Also appreciate you giving me this time. This is my first initial interview for this show, so just kind of glad that you're willing to work with somebody so new.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
All right. So first question, I just want to get to know a little bit about you. I know that you played, you went to Evans High School and graduated, 99?
1999, yes, sir.
And then you went to play baseball.
Yep.
Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Well, at high school, I played all three sports. So I played basketball, baseball, and football.
Oh, okay.
Kind of got to my senior year and, wanted to play college ball. You always have a dream of playing pro ball.
Absolutely.
But, being a 5'7" quarterback, probably doesn't pan out too well in the football world. So I decided to kind of go the baseball route.
Okay.
Was fortunate enough my senior year to get an offer to play at South Florida Community College. And so I went there for 2 years, played baseball there for 2 years, and then I went to Florida A&M and played for another 2 years.
Okay. So that's why you repped the Rattlers so hard.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We got our butts kicked this weekend.
Yeah.
It's all right. Still Rattler till I die.
So have you always aspired to be a head coach? I know your dad was a head coach, and I met one of your brothers.
Yeah.
He is a coach now.
Absolutely.
On the college level. Yeah. So is that something you've always looked to do, or
not necessarily be a head coach, but coach. Absolutely.
Okay.
I didn't really want to be a head football coach anyway. I wanted to coach college ball. I started coaching baseball. People don't know I'm a football coach now, but I started coaching baseball.
Okay.
So my goal was to be a college baseball coach.
Yeah.
And then even when I started coaching football, I wanted to be a college football coach, but not a head coach.
Okay.
So I really didn't aspire to be a head coach, but it kind of just happened.
But you were a baseball head coach on a high school level, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I started as a head coach.
So how'd you get to football? Well, if that's something you didn't want to do, I'm just saying.
Okay, so this is how it happened. This is how I got into head coach baseball. Let me start from the beginning. So after I got done playing some minor league baseball,
right,
I had to go back to school to get my degree. Okay. And so I had to do my student teaching in order to get my degree in education.
Right.
So I was doing some lessons at Barry Larkin's place in Orlando. He had a place called, Greater Orlando Baseball Academy in Orlando, South Orlando, big facility. So I was doing lessons there, and I met this guy named John Updike, who was the head baseball coach at Mount Dora.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, man, I'm getting ready to step down. We need a coach.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I needed to do a student teaching. I was like, if I can do my student teaching there, I'll coach.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it happened. They needed a head baseball coach. I needed to do a student teaching. So I did my student teaching. They made me the head baseball coach, kind of just threw me in the fire. And then my first year there coaching baseball, they got a new football coach named Wade Bill. And he needed assistant coaches.
Yeah.
And so he was like, man, will you just come do the DBs? So I was like, okay.
Yeah,
so,
you're familiar with it.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. And so that's kind of how my football coaching started.
Wow.
I was head baseball coach and just kind of needed a DB coach. So I started coaching DBs.
How many years did you do coaching baseball, head coach?
About 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So 2006 to like 2017. Something like that. Yeah, about 10 years, 10, 11 years. So I was doing both. I was doing...
So how did you become the head coach of football? If you were assisting...
Okay, yeah, so I was assisting started off as a DB coach for 2 years with Coach Bill, and then he left. Yeah. Coach Grabowski got the job, and I moved to the offensive side of the ball where I did wide receivers. And Coach
That's what you prefer to be anyway, right? With the
yeah, not now. Then, not so much. Coach Hay, who was the football coach, head coach here forever, was the offensive coordinator. Yeah. So I was the wide receivers coach. Then Coach Hay left and got the job at Eustis, and I became the offensive coordinator with Coach Grabowski, and I was the offensive coordinator for 7-8 years. And then the job opened up. The first time it opened up, I interviewed and didn't get it. They gave it to Coach Bullock. That's at Lake Highland Prep, and I didn't get it. So I stayed on as offensive coordinator. He left after a year. They gave it to somebody else. And then once that guy left, I kind of took it over. Actually, Birchfield got it.
Oh, yeah.
Then somebody else got it. And then
Birchfield from East Ridge.
Then I finally said, okay, I'll take it over. Because I didn't want to be head coach. The year they gave it to Coach Bullock, I was kind of salty a little bit. I was like, I thought I should have got it. So I was like, I don't want to be head coach. Then it opened up a couple years later.
It seems to be the natural progression. I mean, if you're an assistant coach, you say there's so many. I mean, you can just kind of just go into
years
that.
Coordinator, you know the kids, familiar with you. Yeah.
That does raise a question though. So from assistant, you were assistant for so many years, and now you're a head coach. Like, how is that different? From like, how is being an assistant coach? Because I'm an assistant. I mean, you're an assistant coach.
How's assistant coach being different from being a head coach?
Right.
Oh,
is it just one thing? Just dealing with parents?
No. It's not just parents. It's everything. You know, you deal with parents. You got to deal with the fundraising. You got to deal with the community relations part. You know, you got to deal with the students. Every aspect falls on the head coach. You know, as an assistant, really, you can come in, you can coach your position. Right. You can leave. You see the parents at the gate.
You're not saying it's easy to be an
assistant.
It's
not easy at all. You can see the parents at the gate. You can say, Coach, they want to talk to you. Right. You know? So, I mean, just the biggest thing is really, you know, you got to deal with the parents. You got to deal with the fundraising. Right. You got to deal with, you know, the recruiting part, making sure kids are getting recruited, make sure you're, you know, getting the film uploaded, you know, delegate that to somebody. A lot of people like to do it themselves. I kind of chose the delegation route, which makes it a lot easier. But
Coach Bob's really good at that.
Yeah, but, you know, my first year, you know, you don't have a lot of assistant coaches. It's like all on you. Yeah. And it's, it can be a lot. It can be a whole lot.
So what is that like to build your staff? I mean, because that is important.
Oh yeah, it's
guys
you know,
that are kind of behind you and kind of teaching your message or just keeping your message going. Yeah. How is that to choose a staff?
It's actually it's tough, and especially here in Lake County, where you don't have a lot of teacher turnover. Right. Because as a coach, you want to have as many guys on campus as you can.
Absolutely.
And we don't have that much turnover, but Mr. Clark has been kind of really good at giving me jobs when the job opens up. You know what I mean? He's like, hey, you need time to find a coach if I can. And so I think we got six guys on campus, 7 guys on campus, which is kind of unheard of for this level. My first year here, it was me, and that was it. You know what I mean? It was me, and that was it. And so now we got 6, 7 guys. It's just it makes my job a lot easier. You know, you're able to delegate things, kids around the kids. And so it makes my job so much easier when you're able to get those guys on campus. But that is hard. Yeah. And then you also need lay coaches, like, you know, guys who are just in the community like yourself, like Cedric, who can come in and who knows guys in the community, can network in the community and do those things. So there's so many nuances between putting a good staff together. But I think we've done a good job of course.
It's like being a head of an organization.
Absolutely it is.
So you have that organization to worry about, you got your job to worry about. So let's go to family life a little bit, because you got a lovely wife, you got 2 kids. How is that affected? Because I know just from my wife, she's lovely. Yeah. Just from my wife, it seems like there's countless hours that a coach has to put in. Yeah. But I feel like she's counting them. Yeah. If you know what I mean. Yeah, like, how is that dynamic? Because you need that support from your wife, and I'm sure she does support you well. But I mean, has that been kind of a struggle when you first became a coach, head coach?
Now, when I first became a coach, no, because me and my wife went together when I first became a coach.
Oh, okay.
And luckily, you know, we kind of sat down and had that conversation. I was like, you know, this is kind of what I do. Right. You know what I mean? And you kind of be accepted. And she kind of engulfs herself into the program. So she's kind of a part of it, you know. Lil Frank's a part of it, you know what I mean? So that makes it a little bit easier. I think her being a principal and a teacher kind of makes it a little easier because she understands a little bit. But she's been in it so long now that she kind of understands that during the season it's going to be, you know, it's going to be some long hours. She's going to be by herself, you know. And so I think she's kind of accepted it. You got to have a special person with you in order to understand that. So I know when Frank was first born, that's when I kind of started stepping away from the baseball because both of them were getting too much. Because I was doing baseball. No, I was doing football till November. Then baseball starts off
to the end of the year.
And then I was doing summer baseball, summer football workouts. Wow. So back then I had to take. That's why I kind of took one off. You know what I mean? So just having football, you know, you kind of done in November, so you get some time off. But having Frank, my son, who's involved in football, having my wife who's in education, kind of I think makes it a little bit easier. But you definitely got to have an understanding wife.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. So let's fast forward to, because we're talking about just it being an organization that you're kind of being in charge of or head of, however you want to put it. Your employees or your product are the kids. Yeah. So I mean, obviously they want to play football if they come out here. But there's a lot of kids that just want to be a part of something. How do you kind of keep those relationships with the players to make them want to play for you? You know what I mean? Like, because they're not on the same level as far as because that has to be a tough organization to run. I would imagine.
Absolutely.
You got all these kids. You know, some really want to aspire to play the next level. Some just want to come out and be camaraderie. Just be a part of something bigger than themselves. I
think it's all about just building relationships. You know what I mean? Yeah. Building special relationships, and that's all the way across a program. Like, in order for a program to be successful, like as a head coach, I got to have a great relationship with administration. Right. I got to have a good relationship with the community. I got to have a good relationship with my assistant coaches. I got to have a good relationship with the players. But I think it's key also to have that staff in place where, you know, as a head coach, I can't build a relationship with every single kid. Right. You know what I mean? But those relationships,
you try, but
you try as much as you can. But that's where that staff comes in place. Right. Where it's like, okay, you got your group of kids; these are your guys. You build that relationship with them. You get to know them. So they're gonna run. If they don't want to run through a wall for me, they're gonna want to run through a wall for somebody. Right. You know what I mean? So
which will still benefit
the team. So as a head coach, you try to build all these relationships, but you got 70 kids. It's extremely difficult. Yeah. But if you got a good staff, and now this coach has a great relationship with his position group, this coach has a great relationship with his position group, I think that's where you really see the kids kind of buy into, okay, even if he's not playing for the head coach, I'm gonna play for my position coach. Right. And if the position coach and the head coach are on the same page, it kind of all falls into place.
So you mentioned Mr. Clark earlier, how he's kind of helping out. So as a young coach, if you can remember your first year being the head coach, is that one of the most important relationships that you try to build is with administration, or is it with your coaches, or is it with your players? I know you try to do them all. Yeah. But like, there's got to be one that you kind of hold dear as a young coach. Yeah. Like, what was the relationship that you?
For me, it was with administration. But you know, I think the most important relationship to me is with the kids that are playing for you. Yeah. But as a head coach now, looking back now, I probably won't take a job if the relationship with the administration isn't. I don't think it'll be there, or the administration isn't going to be supportive of athletics. Yeah. So that'd
be a tug of war.
Yeah. I mean, initially taking a job, you better have an administration that is supportive of athletics. Right. You know what I mean? Or it's going to, you know, it's just, why are you even there? It's not gonna work, know what I mean? Yeah. But once you're in it, I think the most important relationship is with the players who you're going to be playing for you.
So is that what you, as I don't want to say an older coach, as a seasoned coach now, would you was that if you could go back and tell that new coach, that new young Coach Scott, that's the most important relationship to build is with administrators, most likely? I mean, kids is kind of like, we know that.
If I had to talk to my younger self, because, you know, the administration at Mount Dora when I was there, wasn't super supportive of athletics, I would tell my younger self, I was like, do not take a job first and foremost if the administration is not an athletic. Do not support athletics. I would say that first and foremost, and then secondly, I would say you know, try to build
like a lot of them out there. I would imagine that you know, kind of just want to do their job and
want to do their job and leave. Don't want to, or you know, they just don't have that experience maybe in the high school realm, right? Where, you know, athletics is an important part of high school. Yeah. You know, how many kids wouldn't, you know, you and me, I wouldn't be in the high school if it wasn't for athletics. Absolutely. So that's a part that I think some administrators miss. But, you know, luckily here we have an administrator that, you know, supports athletics. So that's a plus.
Well, fast forward to this year. This is your third year with Eustis. This is my second year with you. If we can just go back to the last 2 weeks, you know, we are 0-2 now. And we got, excuse us. That's good? Yeah. Okay, so if, how do you plan to get us back on track, so to speak? I mean, we're 0-2. We got Tavares coming up here at home, and the kids haven't lost yet. And of course, we're not pressing the panic button just yet. Right. But there is something to be said about being 0-2. Like, how do you think that we can maybe bounce back from this?
I mean, I think that we just, you know, when I look back at the film and I kind of just evaluate, you know, it goes back to, you know, I don't think the kids weren't playing hard. You know, I think a lot of them were playing hard. They were giving good effort. For me, it goes back to like just lack of execution. And you kind of got to look at, you know,
they know what to do.
They know what to do. Multiple turnovers, you know, just blown coverages, things like that. So, I mean, I think it's just kind of get back to some of the basics. You know, get back to some of the basics. You know, tackling, catching, lining up, blocking, and
proper hand placement.
Yeah, exactly, that kind of stuff. Get back to the fundamentals, and I think if we're able to do that, I think we'll be fine. I don't want to panic. I don't want to, you know, say that the season is done. You know what I mean? Because all our goals are still in place. But I think we just got to get. I think we just got to get back to the basics. As long as the kids start, you know, keep playing hard and don't give up, continue to play hard, if we can execute on those little things, I think we'll be fine. What people don't understand is that, you know, we still were missing last week we missing like 3 offensive linemen that started for us last year, and defensive backs.
And that's the one unit you want to be the most cohesive. I mean, you want the same 5 guys if you can do that.
Yeah, and then we were playing a really, really good team. You know what I mean? So you know, we 6-7 drop passes. So I think if we just go in and execute at a high level, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. So with the 0-2, I mean, you kind of brought up something there. You said people think certain things or whatever, like. We have a lot of outside people that kind of want to come in sometimes and tell us how to do it better.
Absolutely.
And I get that. And there's some people that play sports just like us and they may even know better, but they're not out here right now. How would you tell someone to kind of maybe chill on all the advice that is unwarranted? You're not asking for it.
You know what? It's hard because I get it. You know, people in the stands, that's what happens.
Well, yeah.
My wife sits in the stands, and I tell her, hey, just sit on the visitor side if you don't want to hear it, because it's going to happen. And I think losing kind of exacerbates that. You know what I mean? It does. And so, you know, I say, you know, let it. You got to trust us and let us coach.
Yeah.
You know, we've been growing this program for a reason. We went from 1-9 to 4-5 to 7-3 for a reason. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we know what we're doing. Just let us do our job. And at the end of the day, if you want to help out, you can fill out an application and volunteer, and we'll take everybody. You know what I'm saying? But
you got Mr. Clark helping out with
it's just hard. It's hard for me to kind of listen to that when they're not out here every day. They don't know the kids we work with. They don't know what
you don't want to be dismissive to them, but you just kind of at the same time.
I don't want to be dismissive, but I'm like, we're out here. We've been out here since this summer. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been doing this. We know what these kids can do. We got a better idea.
Coach, the beginning of January.
Exactly. We've been grinding, man. We've been coaching our behind.
The summer.
And it's kind of frustrating because, you know, people are like, oh, what y'all doing out there? Coach, like, we coaching our behinds on, you know, every single day. And not just for me because I can take it, but when they, you know, talk about the guys on the staff. And I mean, my coaches are out here coaching our behinds off every single day.
Right.
And so, you know, for somebody to just sit back and kind of say, oh, we're not doing nothing in practice, or, you know, we coaching our behinds off. You know what I'm saying? Come out here and watch. We coaching our behinds off. But if anybody want to help out, look, I'll send you a volunteer application. You come sign up and come on out.
We'll see how easy it is, that transition for them to make.
It's tough, man.
Their home life as well. So we're gonna wrap this up real quick. That's good.
That's a fine.
I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. I want to thank you for allowing me to talk to you. I do have one last question though. And you kind of talked about it before, just what you would tell your younger self. Like, so if take relationships out of it, how long have you been head coach now?
Well, this is I'm going on my 3rd year, and I was 2 years at Mount Dora.
Okay,
so this is going on
as far as football.
As far as football,
what would 5-year-old Coach Scott tell the rookie head coach, Coach Scott? Like, hey, look out for this, or you know
what? This is funny because and rest is so David Lee.
Oh yeah.
So when I was
baseball coach.
when I was coaching baseball, you know, my first couple of years, he gave me this advice, and I'm telling you, it's crazy. He gave me this advice dealing with parents because those who don't know, that's one of the biggest things headaches for head coaches dealing with parents.
I see it as an assistant. Absolutely.
So he said, man, when you have your parent meeting, you go into your parent meeting and make sure it's in your rules and regulations. You say, parents, if you want to meet with me and talk to me, I have an open door policy.
Yeah.
And he said, one thing that we will not discuss is playing time. So if you want to talk to me about anything else, your kid's grades, your kid's recruiting,
you're all for it.
All for it, but we won't talk about playing time. If he wants to discuss playing time, he needs to go talk to his position coach. If he doesn't get what he wants from his position coach, then he can talk to me. But I will not talk to parents about playing time. Listen, ever since I have done that, I have really not had parents approach me. And so that's been one of the, honestly, and it's crazy, that's been one of the best pieces of advice like I've gotten. And so if I had to tell a younger coach, I'd tell them first start right there.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be half of your headache is parents worrying about playing time, parents worrying about...
Because playing time is, I mean, that's, they want to come see their baby.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and it's emotional for parents.
Right,
right. It's emotional, but...
If I don't know how I'm going to be. I got a son right now. I mean, my daughters don't think I'm going to play too much sports with my son.
Yeah, you don't know how you're going to be because it's emotional. You know what I mean? So, for me, if I had to tell, I said, start right there.
Yeah.
Your parent meeting, start right there. And then make sure you're not afraid to have somebody smarter than you on your staff. Or somebody that knows more than you. On your staff, because that's how you grow as a coach.
Right.
You know, starting off, you're not gonna know everything.
Not just in football. You're saying like
in football, life, everything. You know what I mean? That's how you grow. And I said, you want to surround yourself with guys who are more knowledgeable than you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's two things I would say.
That's a pro tip.
Yeah,
that's a pro tip. Yeah. But again, I want to thank you again for being on Prep Talk with Woody.
Absolutely.
This would be the opportunity right now where I would talk about an ad or something, and if you want to endorse, promote, however you want to do.
Okay.
I'm just talking to them right now. Yeah. You can email me at preptalkwoody, preptalk.woody@gmail.com. I'm going to clean us all up in a second. But, Coach, I do want to thank you for letting me come in and talk to you.
Appreciate it.
See you later.
See you later.
All right.
Go Panthers.